Hello and welcome to the Worth&Wealth seminars. My name is Sophie Stevenson. I'm a program manager here at the Office of Economic Empowerment. Today's seminar is going to focus on side hustles and wealth building with Samantha Morales. Before we begin, I just want to let everyone know that your cameras and microphones are disabled. We're going to have a Q&A throughout and at the end of the session, so please feel free to submit your questions then and in the chat at any time. Today's presentation, along with the recordings and a list of additional resources, will be emailed to you and everyone who registered. I'm excited to introduce today's presenter, Samantha Morales. Samantha is an investment manager, financial advisor, and the founder of Wealth-In 360. She provides personal financial planning and investment services to professionals, first-gen wealth builders, and business owners. She has over 20 years of experience in the financial services industry, and she has leadership roles at the Bank of New York Mellon and State Street. She also simplifies complex financial challenges to empower her clients. She's a passionate advocate for financial literacy, and she co-founded Ahora Inc., a nonprofit supporting low-income individuals. I'm going to let Samantha take over. She's going to introduce us a little bit into today's topic, which is side hustles and wealth building.
It's basically an income generating activity outside of your main job. That's mainly what it is. It could be before your 9 o'clock or after your 5 o'clock, or something that you do on weekends or only on seasons such as Thanksgiving or the end of the year holidays. Um, Side hustle could also be a short-term task-based work. It could be that you were hired to build a house, and after you build that house, then you're done for the year. So that could be also part of a side hustle. It could also be a structured or long-term entrepreneurial venture. It could be that, for example, I know someone that they make soaps and candles and they sell that throughout the year. That's their side hustle venture. They have their full-time job, but outside of work hours, they sell soaps and candles online or in different festivals throughout the summer. So it could be something that's already built in your timing and your long-term goals. So those are the three overall definitions of a side hustle. And then again, tying it back to wealth building and why would a side hustle matter? A side hustle can give you multiple income streams. You have, again, you may have a part-time job, you may have a full-time job, and then the side hustle can give you that additional income stream to build more of financial independence because it provides that additional extra income that you can apply to paying off debt, saving more, or investing. And that can accelerate getting out of debt. It can accelerate increasing your emergency fund, and it can accelerate your investment goals. And also, a side hustle can give you that mind shift, as we said a few minutes ago, in treating your side hustle as a financial freedom tool and the overall wealth building plan, not just receiving cash flow for I'm just going to receive it and then spend it right away. So again, shift my mindset shift to build that into as a financial tool where you can increase your income and then increase your wealth and accelerate your wealth building goals. And then our key takeaway that again that I want to make sure that I continue to specify and highlight that a side hustle provides that opportunity and the long-term wealth potential. Um, and then the wealth building framework when it comes to side hustle is to achieve a financial goal, whether it's to provide stability to build up emergency fund, or again, to pay off those debts that are really take time to pay off, depending on how much we owe. It also provides growth which gives us the ability to invest on a regular basis. And then if you were here last week or the week before, we talked about what does it mean to invest and when to invest, and how we can help our money grow the longer we leave it invested. And again, it can also provide that a freedom because it provides that additional income stream. And I included a example here of someone that has a side hustle that received $300 a month. Let's say you use that for investing and it grows on average 8%. In 10 years, it can go to $55,000. So it's definitely a meaningful tool that can be used to achieve that financial freedom. And again, I included this graph just to show the trajectory that $300 invested for 10 years on a monthly basis can show you. Again, it's hypothetical, and it's not guaranteed, but let's say we can include it, invest in an 8% annual in portfolio. It could give us a sizable amount. This could be part of your goals, that if you want to buy a house, or if you just want to have additional income, if you were to retire earlier, you can start using a side hustle to also be part of that, your long-term wealth building, to achieve those goals, to either retire earlier or just to have additional income when you retire, or if you want to buy a house or a business or investment property. Now that we understand what a side hustle is, we understand the importance of it to wealth building. So now, if you're someone that wants to do a side hustle but you're not sure on what, so what are the steps that we can take to just even start thinking about it? So one of the things that we can start thinking about is, what's your skills inventory? Um, do you know how to cook? Can you sew, or are you really good with crafts and arts? So start writing down what are the things that come really easy to you, or it's a skill that you have. Um, and then what's something that you can take and use it to grow over the years? How much time and energy do you have? Do you only have a few hours a week? Do you have a couple of times a week, a couple of days a week? So going through those inventory and assessing your skills, the time, the energy, and how long do you have to grow a particular, or how long can you stay doing a side hustle? And what are the available resources that exist that you can have access to take those skills and that idea and put it into action? For example, there are online courses that are free of charge where you can learn how to use Excel, or you can just learn how to do maybe painting. So the different things that you can have access to that are resources free of charge to you, that you can tap into, so you can start building the idea in the business. So once you go through the inventory, once you assess how much time do you not have, how much energy do you have to spend time on that particular idea, then match that profile and those inventory of skills to either a service-based business. It could be, if you're really good at math, you can do tutoring. If you like to take care of children or elders, you can be a caregiver. You could have a product based. So if you know how to make soaps or candles, then you can sell those online via e-commerce. Or if you're good at writing or marketing, then you could be a content creator, or you can affiliate with a business to do marketing, or especially social media marketing. So um, matching your skills, time, energy, the resources you have available to a specific business profile. And I just listed three of them here that are high level ones. And I'll share some specific ideas that side hustle ideas that you can contemplate if you don't already have one. And then one of the things that, before you start, make sure you know what you want to do and that you enjoy it. It's easier to sustain a side hustle and grow it when you enjoy what you do, because it's going to be time consuming. It's also going to consume some of your energy. So enjoying your side hustle while you're doing it, it's a plus to sustain it and grow it. So just curious for the audience that's here, any participants that are present today have any side hustles currently? You can say yes or no. I'm just curious.
We have one no, two yeses so far. Eileen said surveys, and we have a no and then another yes.
Awesome. So I love to hear any feedback or comments along the way for those that already have a side hustle, or any specific questions that you may have that you've been thinking about or contemplating. So yeah, throughout the presentation, I would love to hear from you, and any experiences or challenges or opportunities that you've come across.
Jeffrey shared that he has painted in the past, and then Renee has done pet sitting and dog walking.
Awesome. Yes, these are great ideas. Yeah, so along this way, there's some options here that I've listed for the ones that either you've done a side hustle before or you're contemplating on one and you're not sure what. I just share a few of them here. It could be a skill based. It's easier to start. You can do online tutoring or teaching online if you have an expertise in a particular subject. You could be an assistant, a virtual assistant. You can do freelance writing, editing, or designing websites or blogs. Um, if you're good with finances or organization, you can do bookkeeping, or if you have experience or the uh, with tax preparation, you can also do that. Caregiving support is one here. Another one that's service based, which is more local and more personal. Cleaning is one of them. You can do pet sitting, like someone listed uh, recently. You can do babysitting. You can do lawn care. You can be a handyman where you can go around your neighborhood and offer your services. Um, you can also have more of a platform-based side hustle. Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, or Amazon are very common ones. Um, Other ones are product or creative income based, where you're selling things on Etsy, online shopping, where you are uh, designing crafts. Like for example, my father-in-law, he collects driftwood. He goes to the beach during the summer. He collects driftwood and then builds. He's built lamps and he's built um, different decorative pieces that he has sold online or that he goes to a local store at the local town, and then they can put it to sell at this local store. Um, and then you can either design websites or other digital goods or printed on demand items for sale. And then you can also put together online courses. Again, if you have an expertise that you think others might benefit from learning, you can share that expertise via online courses or just writing your own ebook. And then if you're good with wood or building things like building furniture and using it for sale through your local store, furniture store, or online sales. So this is some sample ones that I've listed in case people were just thinking of a side hustle, but they weren't sure how to approach different options. Another few options, and you'll receive that with the presentation. Okay, so there's a side hustles, and then I want to start getting into a little bit more. What does it mean to have a side hustle if you do have one, and what are the things to keep in mind? If you don't, if you are approached by different entities that are offering you unrealistic promises, that's a red flag. How to avoid scams? How to avoid putting yourself in a situation that is actually going to harm you rather than help you. Um, Also, a red flag if you're asked to pay upfront to start working on something. Um, If you are told the word guaranteed returns and high profits, um, get high profits and returns are not guaranteed. So if you're promised a high return or high profits, that's also a red flag that you should question. Or if you're pressured to act too quickly, those exclusive offers, act now or you'll never be able to participate in them. So whenever you have those like act now or the offer will be gone, that's also something that will definitely be flagged as a red flag. Um, if you're approached by someone that does not have a clear company address or a website where you can verify their mission statement, their services, or any um, survey that has been done by this company, it's also a red flag. I know there's a lot of digital companies or online companies, but at least companies should have a visibility online, and you should be able to verify that it's actually an actual company. Um, if you have communication that are moving off secure platforms, I cannot count how many times I get messages through WhatsApp that for job offers or we have an offer for you. Um, I usually don't answer to job offers through WhatsApp platform. So whenever you have, those messages for from unknown sources, should also be a red flag. If you're asked to provide your social security or any bank information or UID, um, it's too early in the process. Also, it's a red flag. So three things that I included here before you say yes, so before you share any personal information is, do you understand how you're getting paid? Is it a bank transfer? Will they mail you a check? Is it a direct deposit? Have you verified the company online? You can verify any company through the Business Bureau um, website. It's an existing company. Have others provides any kind of feedback for this particular company? And are you being asked to send money or share any sensitive information? So before you say yes, make sure you go through at least those three questions and you have clear answers. Again, it's different if you already know the source, if it's a family member or it's a friend that is contacting you and you're having these type of conversations. Of course, that's different. But if this unknown source or from a source that you're not sure where it's coming from, you definitely should be careful and go through this list of common red flags. Any questions, comments, or feedback? Okay, so now you have a side hustle, you're making extra income. So what are the things that we should consider? Tax pay, included that in your taxes is something that should be considered. And I included here a form that you most likely will receive for the particular side hustle that you have, which is a 1099 form. And the 1099 form is a tax document that is used to report those outside of the traditional employment, that income that is earned outside of the traditional employment, which is usually through a W-2, which is a W-2 form that you fill out with your employer. So specifically, the 1099 form that is used for this non-employee income is the 1099 NEC, and I included a copy here. If you have not seen it, this is what you will receive with confirming your payer information, your social security, and how much of compensation have you earned for that particular year. If you earn more than $600 in a year from a company or client, you are generally going to receive a 1099 because they have to report that on the company side. So you must report that income that you received, and you can include that with your tax return. Even if you didn't receive a form, just to be on the safe side, you should report that extra income. So that's the 1099. So now if you have a side hustle, it could be something that is you can do with your name to formalize it and have the ability to grow it a little bit more. You can choose or build a structure to where you can either provide those services of the products. The the two most common and general ones are the sole proprietorship and the LLC. There are others like S corp and the C corp, but the two most common one and less costly are the sole proprietorship and the LLC. And I'll talk a little bit more on the sole proprietorship. We're not going to go into too much detail of each entity, but we'll talk about general terms, what they mean. So why have a structure for a side hustle? Two big advantages that I'm going to include here is tax advantages. It also gives you a scaling ability. So for tax purposes, if you have a side hustle with a business structure, you can deduct any kind of expenses that are related to that particular business that you're working on. So if you are a virtual assistant, for example, and you have to spend money on paper, or if you're using your internet for business purposes, or if you're using your phone, you deduct part of that of those expenses as a business expense. You also have the ability to open a retirement fund or retirement option that is called SEP IRA, which is for a self-employment IRA, basically, and then a solo 401k. So you may be someone that has a full-time job but don't have access to a retirement fund. You can do an individual retirement account. But if you also have a side hustle and have a business entity, you have the option to open a retirement account through your business entity. Um, I don't know if that anyone has any questions on those two options, especially on the retirement option. Okay, so scaling tips, you can automate, use digital tools, use tools for scheduling, you can build templates. So if you have, let's say you are a tutor and there is a form that you send to any potential students that you're going to tutor, you can digitize and automate the form so you don't have to fill it out manually every time. So that can give you ability to even service more people or to spend less time filling out the forms. Any profits or any income that you make from that side hustle, you can include it into back into marketing, or if there's additional education that you need to get. For example, if you want to become a certified X, you can study for the particular certification, or if you need to go back to school. Um, Also, automating and investing back into the business will help you balance the growth and avoid any type of burnout. Because if you're burned out, then of course you're not going to have the energy or the time to continue to service anyone through your side hustle over the years or over the months that you have. So a sole proprietorship, let me see if I a sole proprietorship is basically a legal entity that is not registered as a LLC, and we'll talk about the difference a little bit more. Where you register your name or a business name with the state business registry. So in this case, you can, if you don't want to use your legal name, you can come up with a name that is a business name, or it could be part of your name. For example, my legal name is Samantha Morales, and my business name could be Morales Creative Studio. So you can register the Morales Creative Studio. Before you do that, make sure you check the registry so no one else has used that name to register a business. So that's what you will do. Come up with a name, register your business through the clerk's office, and you'll hear a lot of DBA, which is doing business as Morales Creative Studio, but you are Samantha Morales. Once you register the business, you will receive a business certificate with a registration number. And then that registration number, you can use it for different things. And this is the website that you can use to register to receive that employer identification number. Comments, questions on this list so far?
Jasmine has asked, how do you know your name has been taken?
Great question. So when you go to that state registry website, and I'll share, Sophie, I'll share with you. So when the email goes out this week, it could be there. You will go to the website and then you will enter the name of the business that you want to use. So I'm in this case, for example, I'm going to go to the state registry website and I'm going to enter Morales Creative Studio. If a business comes up, meaning you'll see already that name associated with a business that is active, then I cannot use that particular business name. You can change it to Morales Studio Creation, just switch it around so it can't be the same one. Okay, so that's the first, choosing your name, ensuring that it's not already taken by someone else. You will receive a business certificate. Once you receive that approval of the business registration, then you can go to this website and apply for an employer identification number. Then you can use to open a business account. It's important to maintain your personal from your business finances. It helps for tax purposes. It helps for overall financial management purposes, and it helps you keep track of your business, how well it's doing versus also your personal finances. So that number that you will receive, the bank will ask you for that letter and the employer identification number. Then that's what you're going to use for, that number is what you're going to use for all the income and expenses and savings that are related to your side hustle. Also, make sure that you obtain any licenses or permits that you will need. If, for example, if you are going to sell some kind of food, make sure that you have a permit from the health department to sell any kind of food items. If you're doing any type of consulting business, do you need a business certificate? Do you need a license to provide that particular consulting services that you're doing? Do you, if you have an online retail store that you open in, have you registered with the State Department of Revenue to make sure that you're registered for that sales tax registration? So, and again, you'll get this presentation with this list that you can go through. Another part of keeping it separate, and again, this is for sole proprietorship. There's more involved in the LLC structure. For time purposes, I'm not including the LLC structure in this presentation. However, if you do have any questions with the LLC structure, which is a limited liability company where it's a business registration where you have limited liability. I also want to say that for liability purposes, when you have a sole proprietorship, you as the person, you are liable. When you have an LLC structure, the business has the liability. So there's a little bit more coverage when it comes to any kind of personal liability. However, the LLC, it costs a little bit more. You have to pay about $300 to register, and then you have to pay an additional $500 every year to keep the LLC active. You need to have operating agreements, and then and have like a registered agent. So there's more involved. So that is more if you have more like a sustainable long-term business. LLC could also be an option. But for those of us that are looking just to do a side hustle, I will definitely recommend that you start with a sole proprietorship. And then if it becomes like a business structure venture, then you can move on to registering as an LLC just to provide more of a liability coverage. But for the purposes of today's presentation, I've covered specifically just a sole proprietorship structure because it's easy to start. You can start tomorrow. It's doesn't cost anything other than the register any type of fees that you need to pay, which are very minimal. So this is why the reason why I'm using this particular business structure for this for the side hustle, where you don't have to incur any cost to be at the beginning. Another thing that I will definitely recommend is that you have a bookkeeping tool like QuickBooks. It's very affordable, has a monthly subscription of about, I think it's $35, I believe. You can track any income that are associated with your business. You can save receipts also in there. And you can add anything that is a deductible as an expense. You can link bank accounts, you can link credit cards, just to keep track of all that transaction so you don't have to do it manually. When it comes to tax return purposes, you will file what's called a Schedule C with your tax return, Form 1040. Again, if you have any questions or anything with when it comes to your tax filing, make sure that you work with someone to fill out your taxes, to make sure that you are filling out and completing all of the necessary forms. Also, as a sole proprietorship, and if you have a business, you will have to pay self-employment tax. And again, a tax preparer can help you with that. In case you make a lot of income and then you have a lot of income in your side hustle account, I will recommend that you consider setting aside at least 25 to 30% of your income for taxes, just so you can have money set aside in case you have to pay taxes at the end of the year. If you don't make enough money where your expense deduction, or if you're not making a sizable amount of money, you only pay taxes on the income that you have at the end of the year. If your business did not pay incurred any income, if you're basically negative at the end of the year, then there's no taxes to pay there. So, but if you're forecasting that you're going to make a sizable income, just setting aside at least 25 to 30% in case you need to pay some taxes, it will be really helpful. I've had clients that they receive a tax bill at the end of the year, and then they have to figure out where they're going to find the money to pay it because they had not accrued to pay for those income taxes throughout the year. Another thing that I really want to include here is that you should protect yourself if you're providing services or if you're selling products. Having a general liability insurance can prevent and cover you for if you have someone coming back to you and suing you because of they're not happy with the services that you provided, or if you sell products, they incur some kind of injury. So to prevent your personal situation and income and finances for being impacted for any kind of liability, I would suggest having a general liability insurance for your business or your side hustle. And make sure that you keep contracts, invoices, and payments available, because that will help you during tax time and during any type of audit that you need to go through, if you need to go through it, if you have everything available. Any questions or comments or feedback on this checklist that I've gone here? Anything that you want me to expand on or clarify a little bit more? Okay, so you will also receive with this presentation this quick checklist that you can just go through just to make sure that you've covered all your bases. Again, choosing your business name. Did you have to file a doing business as with a state? Applying for that EIN number that you can use to open a business account. Make sure that you checked in case you need to apply for any licenses or permits to provide the services that you want to provide or the products that you want to sell, setting up a bookkeeping process or software, and can also help you to prepare for taxes and also apply or get that general liability insurance to cover yourself from any liability that can come with your side hustle. Um, and here I wanted to show that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has additional information on the sole proprietorship business entity. It has an overview. It also has the link where you can register with Mass Tax Connect. It also has other information when it comes for business taxes and also a phone number where you can contact with any questions here. So definitely would recommend visiting the website and to research or read for additional questions. I also found out that there's an educational video that walks you through sole proprietorship and other things that you should keep in mind and do before finalizing one. So I would definitely recommend visiting this website or calling the number for any additional help or additional information that you may need. So I find it really useful. And it has been updated this year. So it's a lot of um, updated information available.
Not a question, but just wanted to add, Jasmine has said, I love how you are presenting the information. Everything looks very structured and easy to follow.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, so from side hustles to a sustainable stream that you can build wealth, right? That's our goal here. How do we use a side hustle to build sustainable wealth? And use it as a tool. A side hustle, treat it like a business. Again, that's the mindset shift that we talked about at the beginning. Even if it's part-time, even if it's just a few hours a month, think like an entrepreneur. What's the service that I'm providing? What's the product that I'm selling? What are the challenges and needs that I am meeting in the community or in the state? Um, so think that your side hustle, think like like it's a business. Open a separate account to again keep track of those income and the expenses. Use the bookkeeping app, and and the reason why I keep mentioning the bookkeeping application is because um, it's so useful when you have it, and it's such a headache when you don't, because then you're always trying to find out and figure out how much money did you make, how much do you need, can you deduct from business expenses, so what are the receipts and invoices that you need to provide the person that is completing your tax return. So having that available at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes is so easy, but also avoid um, incurring a tax liability that you may not need to, because you may not have included the business expenses, or you may have over reported your income. So being organized throughout the year is going to really help you and avoid any headaches at the end of the year. Track your deductions. You can add write off any expenses that are ordinary and that are necessary for your work. Again, if you work from home, if you do virtual assistant and you have to use your internet connection, you have to use your printer and a toner, they're expenses that you can deduct during your tax returns. And some of the common deductions that come with habit of business is the home office portion of that. Again, a phone or a printer, a toner, or another one is if you have to drive to do babysitting or to do elder care, you have to incur expenses when it comes to gas and mileage in your car. So you can also deduct some of those expenses. If you have to purchase a software to provide the service, if you have to pay for subscriptions or buy additional equipment to provide the services, also count as a business expense that you can deduct. Not all of it, part of it. And then, but the tax preparer can help you with that. If you need to buy a phone, or if you need to sign up for education or training related to your side hustles, you can also deduct that as a business expense. So again, going through that through the year will help you ensure that you are deducting the expenses that you are able to deduct, that you are accounting correctly for the income that you have incurred, you're not over reporting or under reporting, and will save you time, headaches, and mistakes at the end of the year. So that is all I have for this. So any questions or anything that you wanted to cover, you wanted me to cover today that I didn't. So if there's, we have a few minutes left. So there's anything that, any questions that you came in with that were not answered, or any topics that you were unsure of that were not clear to you, we have a few minutes to take on those questions or those comments.
Not a question, but might be helpful for other participants. Jasmine shared that she learned that Boston also has programs for entrepreneurs. The city has some budget for new or old businesses that want to grow in the neighborhood.
That's awesome. So is that, Jasmine, is that something that we can find through the mass.gov website?
Yes, it says.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I see, do you recommend a website to start bookkeeping? Yeah, so QuickBooks.com is one. Um, is one that is used most commonly for with business owner, and the cost is very reasonable. They have a desktop version and then an online version. The online version, you can access it from anywhere, from your phone to your computer, your laptop. So that will be one that you can start with, which is QuickBooks.com. Okay, recommend to start. Okay. Yeah, so if that's something that you are good at, I think that starting one, starting a bookkeeping as a side hustle. And yeah, I would just say make sure that if there is any you don't need a license for a bookkeeper, but if there's any educational aspects that you need for to provide that type of service, is definitely one that I've seen as the side hustle for other people that I've worked with. You could do bookkeeping for nonprofit profits that may not have the budget to have an in house tax person. You may have a small business owners that don't have that expertise but need someone to take care of that for them. So that's definitely an option. There is a website. I would just go on Google bookkeeping business as a side hustle, and then there will be resources that are gonna come up, but I'm gonna send it to Sophie, and then she can include that as part of her email, actually. If there's an organization that they certify bookkeepers, that you can go into and just read more about it. Great. So again, I thank you for being here this afternoon. If you have additional questions that are specific to your situation, always schedule a one-on-one financial coaching, and we can talk about any specifics related to your side hustle. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Samantha. I'm going to take back over everybody. I'm going to drop some links in the chat that I'll be talking about. So be sure to register for our next webinar. It's going to be Credit Confidence, Building a Strong Financial Freedom. Please take advantage of our free coaching with Samantha, and you'll have free access to a 1-hour session to discuss your personal finances with Samantha. So we have a few hours left in November and a couple hours left in these last couple days of October. So make sure you get in there if you're looking to take advantage of that. Here's a slide for that. Sorry about that. And be sure to look out for that follow-up email with all of the links that we talked about today. And as always, if you want to do a self-paced version of personal finance, you can use Enrich. This is allows you to go through courses and tailor to what you're specifically looking to build on. So thank you all for joining today. Also, just to answer the question that I see in chat, the videos will stay uploaded for forever. So you'll always have access to those, and then you'll also get the copy of the video in that email from me. So we'll always have access to that, and you can rewind, go over anything that you're looking for. Thank you all for joining today.